All right, man. Let's talk about Detroit Lions season. Let's wrap this up. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Thumbs in the video, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to help the channel grow. Share it with your share for your boy, all that good stuff. So we live on YouTube and Twitter right now. Um, Obviously, I missed the live last week. I wanted to get to one on Sunday. Ended up going to the Pistons game, so couldn't get to it. So that changed the plans up a little bit. But yeah, might have multiple lives this week, man. Uh, I'm definitely got a video that's gonna be coming about definitely gonna do a video about Brad Holmes' postseason press conference. Uh, I'm still watching it. I got about 10 more minutes to go, so it'll be a video. I might do a premiere tomorrow. The next couple of days, got a good lineup of videos coming. Next couple of days should be a really good lineup. Got the trade deadline coming Thursday, so that could be a live. Could do another Lions live. So I mean, we gonna keep going and going and going. So I'm not gonna speak on Brad Holmes. I premiere video or do another video talking. I'll do more likely a video, and if we get a good response, I'll do a live. But the Pistons might take front and center for the next live. And then I might jump back with the Lions, man. I just couldn't do a immediate post game reaction playlist to the Lions and 49ers, man, because I'm not gonna get on here emotional and being actionable, man. I turn that shit off. After they didn't get the fourth down, at the second fourth down, I turned it off, bro. I couldn't watch it no more. That shit hurt. I ain't gonna lie. That shit hurt worse than 0-16 because I wasn't living in Detroit when they went 0-16. I kind of was like, watching from afar or whatever. You was hoping that wouldn't happen or whatever. But hey, what happened. That game hurt because anytime, you the better team, and they was by far the better team. Like from top to bottom, they was the better team, and they proved it. And, obviously all year, I wish somebody in that post press conference, I don't know if they asked Dan Campbell, that probably would be more of a question for Dan Campbell than Brad Holmes. But the third quarter this year was the biggest ugly of the year. Nothing was more uglier than the fourth quarter for the Detroit Lions this season. Nothing more was uglier. I say it again. Nothing more was uglier than the third quarter for the Lions offensively all year. Now, the second half defensively in the third quarter, oh man, they were pretty good. They were pretty good. You know what I'm saying? But offensively, that third quarter, man, even in that Green Bay game, even though that first Green Bay game, they got some home cooking, they sputter offensively in the third quarter, and that's pretty much got to be the maturation process for Ben Johnson going forward. Is how do they get better in the third quarter? And I think it started with him. But that was the biggest ugly this year, even more so than the San Francisco loss, because even in the San Francisco loss, one thing that could be pointed out is that the third quarter showed up again, and that's what bit them in the ass. And you just wonder if Dan Campbell was truly aware. I know some talk about the timeout late and all that. That game was over already. But you wonder if Dan Campbell was cognitive of the third quarter, and did he know that the issues they had in the third quarter? I feel like if he knew and was aware of the issues that the Lions offensively had in the third quarter, and you struggled to get points in the third quarter, I think you kicked the field goal. That was my biggest gripe with not kicking that first field goal. The second field goal, I understand. I don't think they have a lot of faith in Michael Badgley. So the first field goal, I think they should have took it. Any opportunity to make a game a 3-score game and you struggle in the third quarter, that was my biggest gripe. They struggled in the third quarter. And then you can even go back in retrospect from there, and you can also say, well, if he was going to be aggressive and kick the field goal, be aggressive and go for it in that position, why not just go for it before the half? And I think that's what a lot of people question was, why didn't he just go for the touchdown? And I think before the half, now y'all can tell me if I'm wrong, he missed Jared Goff missed Jahmyr Gibbs for a touchdown. He missed Jahmyr Gibbs for a touchdown. So imagine, they go up additional 4 points, they score a touchdown before the half. I think at that point he kicks the field goal. But I just think, just being aware of your third quarter deficiencies that you had and knowing your offense struggled to put up points in the third quarter. I think if he was aware of that, and that all comes with coaching experience, time management, game management, that all comes with just experience. No coach coming to game perfect at everything. So clock management, game management, that's something he had to look for. But I think if they were aware of how pathetic they were in the third quarter with leads, without leads, whatever it may be this year, I think, if you struggle to get points, you get points, especially when you got the lead. So, um, and you go back to the second week. Was it the second week we played Seattle? And instead of going for the touchdown at home, he kicks the field goal. So I think one thing about him, I think when you commend Dan Campbell is he, from that experience, you got to remember he still, even though he was an interim coach in Miami, he still was a developing young coach. And I think from that point on, I think he said he's just going to be him and he's gonna live with it. Because Bashley could have went out there and missed that field goal. Let's be real. He could have went out there and missed that field goal. Jake Moody missed one earlier, so um, he could have went out there and missed that field goal too, and then we should have been saying, "Oh, Dan Campbell should have went for it. Oh, he always going for it." So you damn if you do, damn if you don't. Going back kind of to that play, I still put 50-50 blame on Josh Reynolds, and that's why I really didn't lay into him. But I still don't want them to bring him back, so I really didn't cream into Josh Reynolds like that. Pause. Because Jared Goff, anytime he move off the mark, it's an inaccurate throw, and we all know it. Um, but I save my Jared Goff opinion for a little bit later. But I do want to kind of shout out one of the unsung heroes on the team, and I think nobody gave this man credit all year. I think people were scratching their head when they re-signed him. Alex Anzalone, man, you had Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes breathing down your neck, and this is why you bring competition in. I think he's the unsung hero. Low key, man, he might even be the defensive MVP. He was one of the most consistent players all year. His job was on the line, even though they paid him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people say, we put in Jack Campbell, but it takes some years to grow into that position. I mean, even when they called on Rodrigo, when Derek Barnes went down in the Minnesota game, I mean, they got some really good linebackers. Rodrigo, Derek Barnes, he faced adversity for the Dak Prescott thing, but he played great all year, good all year. I mean, Anzalone was great all year. Jack Campbell came in, was great, was really good when he got in there and got more experience. So in a position for years in which we had Boyd and Spielman, and we went a long time without a really another good linebacker, Tulloch, and then as DeAndre Levy actually was growing into a superstar. He had the incident with jumping out the plane, so we kind of ain't really have a lot of really good linebackers, and now I think you really got um, about four good ones. I mean, you got Rodrigo who can start. He came in, got a pick. You got Derek Barnes who can start on a lot of teams. You got Jack Campbell who's a star in the making. So then you got Alex Anzalone. When a young Lions is breathing down his neck, he stepped his game up, and whatever scheme they running, he's a great fit for what they're doing in Detroit. And I think he didn't get enough credit this year. He was excellent. I think he's starting to peak as I think he should be damn near a French Pro Bowler, damn near how consistent he was and how good he was. I mean, we talked about how great Brian Branch was. I mean, as a rookie, he had his highs, he had his lows. You talk about how great Aiden Hutchinson was, kind of got off to a slow start. And I think in the first few weeks of the season, I think you were saying, well, Brian Branch was your best player. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, and he was. And then Aiden Hutchinson just, he hit 3 or 4 more gears. And then you start talking about Elaine McNeil. He started to get into the conversation as one of your better players. But one person that was consistent outside of a little injury was Anzalone. He was consistent through and through. He was good from week 1 all the way till he finished in the San Francisco game. And I think that's one of the guys that people they speak about this year, man. The same like when he messed up, everybody, got something to say about him. But he was mad consistent this year. I don't know, so with the focus. There we go. But he was mad consistent this year, man. I gotta give him the award as the unsung hero. I think he finished top 3 defensive MVP players. He was one of the most consistent players on this team. He was phenomenal all year. I don't think people speak on him enough. But So, but continue to go on defensively. I mean, I had some guys step up this year. Lee McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson took it to another gear. Pascal, I mean, him and Levi Nazorki was continued to be a disappointment. Pascal made some plays here and there, but they just can't stay healthy. You know what I'm saying? Anazorki was out there playing, and nobody's ever recovered from that type of surgery that he had to his back. Most guys retire. So when you look at that way, next year, if they do choose to keep him around, that's a big year for him next year. But defensive line wise, I mean, I say this, man, and I feel very confident in this opinion. Had Anazorki been healthy and lived up to his potential, you know, the Lions would be in the Super Bowl. The Lions probably would be how good I think he should have been. They probably would have been a number one seed. That's how impactful that position is. McNeil need a running mate. What's the other guy that's back there with it? Liam McNeil, man, I forget his name. We gave one guy got cut, and now he on the Super Bowl. He's on the Super Bowl winning team with Kansas City. I get them guys mixed up. The other guy played really, really well this year, man. I'm pulling him up right now. Benito Jones, he played really, really well this year. I think they like what they got in Broderick Martin. But they just need that. They need that guy that can be they need that guy that can be Liam McNeil's Batman. You know what I'm saying? Or his Robin, or Batman 1A or his Superman. So I think that's the biggest priority. I know, a lot of people say cornerback. I think it's 1A, 1B. If you get another twitchy guy in that middle and you continue to develop Broderick Martin, Benito Jones, Hutchinson keep going up. And I think it's out with the old Lions at the edge. And I mean, no pun intended, but it's out with the Charles Harris. It's out with the Okoro brothers. And I think, Justin Houston is he's a situational pass rusher. James Houston, is it James Houston or Justin Houston, man? I don't know, no offense. But I get them mixed up. James Houston, excuse me. He's a situational pass rusher, but they want to transition to a full-time linebacker. But yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, man, I don't know much about the draft. To be honest, I mostly watch Michigan games, and that's what I follow. I don't really watch college. I definitely don't watch college basketball. I don't know how y'all watch it, bro. I don't know nobody, nothing. No offense. I didn't watch the tournament last year neither, so I can't even tell you. But seem like all the good players in the G League or going a different route. So I'm not going to extensively talk about the draft, but I just want to take a peek at what's out here. I don't know. Obviously, it sounds like Chicago is going to stick with Justin Fields. That means Caleb Williams is going to be a star. They're probably going to take Marvin Harrison Jr., probably move down a bit and take him. Malik Neighbors, heard he's really good out of LSU. Drake May, I hear a lot about Drake May. Big, strong kid, 6'4", 230. I think what's the other guy that's on ESPN? I forget his name, man. He's not it's not Mel Kiper or the other guy, Todd McShay. He's another guy, but he like Jaden Daniels over Drake May, and all this is gonna change, right? Brock Bowers is pretty tight end, but you see tight ends go that high, and then you see what's going on with old boy, Kyle Pitts. I think that's more of a Arthur Smith not being able to get him the football with them shitty ass quarterbacks over there. No offense to them. Love Jaden Daniels. This Rome, a dude from Washington, I like him a lot as well too. So yeah, I don't know much more about these guys. This Nate Wiggins guy, he seemed like they got some good, good height on him. Kind of a little light for 6'2", but that's why you're a corner. Kool-Aid McKenzie. A lot of people like the name. Don't know much about the player, to be honest. Keon Coleman, I liked him. He's former Michigan State guy. You got a Toledo Rocket in there, man. Quentin Mitchell. Okay, shout out to Toledo. Used to have hoop camp down there. So you got some edges in there. You got Bo Nix. I don't know how Bo Nix a first rounder. That's wild. I'm just not impressed. So yeah, man. Yeah. Michael Phoenix, they got him going in the second round. I like the talent. I think he a first round talent, but maybe injury concerns or whatever. So yeah, man. speak on that. Just kind of just taking a little sneak peek of what they got going on. So I'm a little bit ignorant to a lot of these guys. So obviously, film study is going to be imperative this way. But nonetheless, finish on the Lions defense. I mean, Kirby Joseph. I think a lot of people say, well, maybe he took a step back this year. I think the issue with Kirby Joseph is they was asking him to play a role in which they was asking him to play a role of kind of more of Gardner Johnson and what Melifano was playing, and he was guarding a lot of tight ends and slot receivers one on one. And what Kirby Joseph do well, he's a great tackler, and he's a guy that he's one of those free safety types where he's great at tracking the football, flipping his hips. Um, he's a how can I say this? He's a ball hawk safety. You know what I'm saying? He's one of those guys that can come up and make a hit, but he's one of those guys that you put him center field, you put him single high, he's going to make a play on the football. He's not a one-on-one guy. He's not going to be great at man coverage or be the most phenomenal guy in man coverage. But, that's why you got Gardner Johnson, Brian Branch. That's why you got Melifano. They're going to be the guys that cover these tight ends and backs and inside receivers one-on-one. Kirby Joseph is your classic free safety. He's a guy that's going to roam, come up, be physical in the run game, but he's going to roam and make some picks. He's not a one-on-one guy. If you got Kirby Joseph one-on-one, you're going to like that matchup. And that's where he needs to improve. It's just in man coverage. But as a safety in zone, robbing, center field high, single high, cover two, covering one half of the field, or two man under covering one half of the field, or coming up in the flats and making plays, being a ball hawk, taking the ball away. I think he was one of those guys that was really hurt by Gardner Johnson getting injured. He was one of those guys that was actually hurt by Melifano not being there. And once Melifano came back, it kind of pushed him back into a role in which, okay, now I can just be that ball hawk safety. I could be that center field guy. I could be that run support guy. And now you got your guys that's your safety nickel guys like and slash corners like Melifano, Brian Branch, and Gardner Johnson. Those are the guys you want guarding guys one-on-one. You want those guys in man coverage. Kirby Joseph, you kind of want him playing center field. Even more so, and I think Tracy Walker won't be back with the team next year. Even more so, you like Tracy Walker in one-on-one coverage. The issue with Walker is he got bricks for hands. So when it comes time to catch that rock, he got brick hands. So that's one of the issues about him, man. But I know a lot of talk been talked about Cam Sutton. I got a video tomorrow, and then y'all or Thursday, so I won't really speak on what I actually think, but I think they need to move on, and I don't think they will, because of the contract, and they're going to convince themselves, well, if we move him to the number 2 safety corner spot, he'll be better. No, he's not good. It's just simple as that. They need to go out there and find 2 corners, and if you are going to play him at the second cornerback spot, whoever your developmental corner is, you got to bring them up fast. I know they feel like they got by with Vitor and all that, man. You can't have that leaky cornerbacks out there next year. And in my opinion, I think the best thing for them to do, and you hear people saying Jalen Johnson, you hear people saying Gilmore, find a veteran to go out there, draft a young guy, have him battle it out with whoever, and if the draft permitting, you see a guy you like in another round, draft 2 of them, but as of right now, I just feel that I don't know how you put him out there as you etch him in stone as a number 2 corner next year. I don't think you do that, man. All guys gonna do is just put the number 1 receiver to his side. You can't go in with him etched in stone. He at least got to compete for that spot with a young guy. But I think definitely you bringing in a Gilmore, a Jalen Johnson, or a veteran type of guy. Or bare minimum, you drafting 2 guys you feel really good about that's going to learn and get better throughout the season. And before Christian Gonzalez got injured, I mean, he was phenomenal with Bill Belichick in New England. I mean, and obviously one of the things, to finish up on the defense, one of the things, y'all got any defensive question, I'll answer them, That would have been interesting. Is that the word on the street? The Lions were going to draft Devin Weatherspoon, and I bet you a pretty penny Detroit tried to jump over Seattle, and I want to say probably Anthony Richardson. They didn't want to wait on that. I think he went right before Weatherspoon or something like that. So um, I guarantee they tried to jump and get him, and they was like, no. So it'd been interesting if Seattle would have went a different way, and Detroit would have took Devin Weatherspoon. There was a report, and I got a video coming about this. There was a report that Minnesota at 23 was going to take Jahmyr Gibbs, right? I bet you a pretty penny what would have happened. I think Detroit would have took Devin Weatherspoon. They probably would have jumped back up and got Jahmyr Gibbs. You probably wouldn't have ended up with Jack Campbell. I think he would have probably ended up with the tight end Laporta. You wouldn't have ended up with Campbell or Brian Branch. I think you wouldn't have ended up with Campbell. So I think that's kind of what would happen. But and I think Devin Weatherspoon made the Pro Bowl. Hooker needs to start soon. I don't know about soon, but we'll see. We need outside linebacker with speed. I don't think you need an outside linebacker with speed. I'm not concerned about that. I think Barnes is more athletic enough. I think Campbell is straight. I don't think you need no more linebackers. I think you get James Houston. They switch him to linebacker. I just think whoever the defensive linemen you bring in, they gotta be faster. Simple as that. Whoever that, if it's Brian Burns, if you draft somebody, whoever it may be, they simply you gotta be faster amongst the defensive line. I'm not concerned about the linebacker speed because basically what if you look at it, they coming out in the base form, they coming out in nickel base formation. So you got Brian Branch or Gardner Johnson in the box off rip playing a nickel. You already that's basically a linebacker with speed. Even if they keep Tracy Walker playing a nickel, you drop him in the box, that's a linebacker with speed. So that's not the issue. Your issue is once you get to the quarterback, your defensive lineman cannot finish the play. That's the issue. So what do you do when you got defensive linemen? You can't get to the quarterback. You got to blitz and do things of that nature. So you got to send safeties and cornerback blitzes. Now, if you mess around and you get a Brian Burns, guess what? He athletic enough. And the thing about Brian Burns, what makes him so attractive in free agency, if they don't tag him, is his length. He's a little bit longer, than Aiden Hutchinson. So when he come around that corner, he got the reach to bring a quarterback down. As of right now, they don't have enough of that burst and that really freak athletic guy on the edge to bring him down. And if you add that with a guy in the middle of the defense that can push the pocket from the inside, and you add a Burns athleticism, that's it. Because when you spell Burns, you're gonna spell him with James Houston. And truth be told, you kind of like the switch up from Aiden Hutchinson and let's say a Burns. We probably won't get him for Kaminsky. Kaminsky is a relentless rusher. I mean, he did some good things on the inside as well too. He's just relentless. So really, the athleticism that you're gonna get from James Houston and let's say a potential Brian Burns, if you can find somebody to push the pocket, the quarterback, you don't need no more speed on the linebacker. Not the defense they play. They need more athleticism across that defensive line. I don't know who Cameron Ward is. So, I mean, you got to enlighten me. Don't know who he is. Let's see. Oh, yeah, there we go. I don't even know who that is. You mean you must be talking about a cornerback because Cameron Ward ain't even on the board. He got to be meant cornerback. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know who the hell Cameron Ward is, my boy. Damn, they got the kid from Michigan, 88th best prospect, Mike Sanastraw. I actually think the other guy's better though. Johnson. Season tickets next season. Oh no, not me, sir. Not at those prices. I might go to a game or two or whatever. He said Nate Wiggins is available. Y'all draft him. I don't even know who that is. Y'all, you asking the wrong guy. He from Clemson though. We know Bo. That's what I wanted Michigan to go hire as Bo. Is they cut Dabo Sweeney? I said it. Lions was getting Gibbs regardless. That's what I believe as well too. What free agent D tackle would you sign? Well, this ain't the show for it. I can't even tell. I'm not gonna speak on that because I'm a little bit ignorant. I looked a little bit at it, but the kid from Baltimore, I don't know much about him. I hear a lot of people on Woodward Sports speaking about him, but I can't really speak on it. So I do more research. But defensively, that's pretty much it. If you ask me the concerns, going into the offseason, the number one concern is a interior defensive lineman that can make something happen in the middle. If you can get a guy that can stop the run and rush the passer, that's perfect. That's ideal, you know. But the other kid, man, Kalensi Cansey, he would have been Kalaji Cansey. He would have been great for the Lions. He's doing great in Bucks, but also in Tampa, they got hell of a defensive line. Vita Vea, William Golston, um, the kid Tyron from Washington. I think Washington got another good edge this year, don't they? Don't Washington got another good edge rusher coming out of that program this year? Oh yeah, Braylon Trice. I like him. 33rd best prospect. I like Braylon Trice. I like everything that Washington coach was doing down there. He now he in Alabama. But then I think interior defensive lineman is still an issue as far as just that guy that can really make something happen on the inside. Cornerback is right there. And then after that, after that they can do whatever they want. But let's kind of flip the script offensively. I mean, obviously, golf and it's maybe some talk of Ragnar may retire. A lot of injuries, just tell if he married, leave him at the crib with his wife a little bit longer. Let him nag him for the summer. He gonna be begging to come in. I think they should kind of give him leniency on training camp. And I think that's what all veterans want. No veteran wants to come into training camp and be out there in the hot sun and bust their ass and all that stuff. And I think a lot of veterans, you know, they earn the right not to do so at this point. But I do think training camp has got really, really soft for the Lions. I mean, for the NFL. No, the padded 2-a-days, ever since they took the padded 2-a-days away, soft tissue injuries have went up. That's a fact. So they took less practices they took less practices and gave the NFL more money, which was the bad trade-off because a lot of these guys end up getting more injured after less 2-a-days. So when you play football, it's the reason why you do the hot ass 2-a-days. It's the reason why you exchange those blows and pads. It's the reason why you out there doing 2 practices and all that. You have to condition the body for war. That's what you're going to. And you can't just condition the body without pain. If you ever, worked out, it's pain. That's the difference between, people that's consistent with workout is they able to endure the pain. It's a lot of pain, stiffness, joint issues. So, you know what I'm saying? NFL is no different. It's pain. It's sweating. It's hot. It's labor. You know what I'm saying? Anybody that played football know them summers, even in high school, with some whole ass shit. Old boy in Minnesota had to kind of, pass away. Rest in peace to him. I think his name was Corey Stringer back in the day. For them to make a lot of changes across the board from Little League, Pop Warner, all the way to pros on how they approach stuff, man. But I say rest in power to him. I think that was his name. So, Frank Ragnar going through, man, like you just hurt, you know what I'm saying? You just need a recharge. And I mean, he's the best center out there. Remember I had the famous video when they drafted him, Frank, what the fuck? I think that was Bob Quinn, best pick. I mean, when you see a guy, I think he had not even given up a sack his whole college career. I mean, that's a no-brainer. I believe somebody took a center before him. If my memory serves me correctly, I want to say the Atlanta Falcons took a center before him. And sometimes you wonder what teams be thinking. And I think sometimes in this draft process, and I'm not going to talk about the draft too much on this. I'll say that for later streams. I think sometimes when you look at um when you look at my bad, I'm tripping. When you look at the draft, I think sometimes, dude, they talk themselves out. I think they talk themselves out of I did do so much research that they talk themselves out of drafting certain players. I think they over research, in my opinion. That's just my opinion on it. I think they over research. And sometimes it's just as simple. I think they nitpick. So let's see. Yup, yeah, no, my bad. We took Frank Ragnar one pick before Cincinnati took Billy Price. Yeah, that's what it was. They took Billy Price. So I don't know where Billy Price is right now. Hold on. See what Billy Price doing real quick. He easily could have been on our team. So he ain't made no Pro Bowls or nothing, you know. I don't think he no longer on Cincinnati. He in Arizona, so yeah, Billy Price ain't do shit, but he's still getting the bag. So shout out to the brother Billy Price. But so yeah, man, I wish him nothing but the best. If he choose to walk away, man, you know the line always gonna be open for him to come back. You got Graham Glasgow who could play some center, but I think you draft somebody that can eventually step in there and play that position. Because remember when Frank Ragnow got drafted, they started him at guard for a minute, if my memory serves me correctly. But Jonah Jackson is free agent. Like I said, I'll do a show on that or videos on that. Graham Glasgow free agent, Big V probably gone. So yeah, man, I think you know, most of their money, it sounds like what Brad Holmes was saying is going to be allocated towards keeping their own people, man. And obviously Laporta was I think the rookie, the award show was Saturday. So Laporta was I was more of a Michael Mayer guy because I seen him play, watched some Notre Dame games, and I was in love with his game. But Laporta, man, oh my goodness, dude. I mean, what can he do? Crisp route runner, elusive, great, tough guy after the catch. It was some issues about his hands at Iowa. That really wasn't an issue this year. You know, great blocker. I mean, Iowa's tight end you. You know, I think there's no debate about it. You know, LSU and Ohio State go back and forth for whoever receiver you is, but it's no debate. Iowa is tight end you. He was elusive. He was great after the catch, and I think next year I want to see him a little bit more in the screen game. And I want to see if they can get him going vertically. I think that's where Ebron failed in Detroit, and where he succeeded at, excuse me, in Indianapolis was Andrew Luck was, you know, he threw a more catchable ball than Stafford, but they were getting Ebron vertically. You know, people want to make Ebron a timing pattern tight end. I think that's also another issue that Atlanta had with Kyle Pitts was they wasn't able to get him the ball vertically. You know what I'm saying? This is where these guys excel at. I mean, look at David Njoku. You know what I'm saying? What happened when you got a veteran quarterback like Joe Flacco? What happened? Flacco liked to push the ball down the field. Njoku had he had the best year of his career. And I know this ain't a Cleveland Brown show or whatever, but David Njoku, man, if you look at his stats this year, especially with Mr. Flacco, I mean, you see what he all about. You see in Joko, you drafting these tight ends early, and then you want to throw Evan Ingram and some of these guys 10-yard hitches and flare routes and all that. I don't know when Joe Flacco. So I think they came back and beat Baltimore, right? So, you know, look at his games. You know, he had some big games with Deshaun Watson. 58 yards in that one, 56, 59, 17, 91, 104, 44, 134, 93, right? So after, you know, I don't know when Joe Flacco was inserted into this thing, but man, this dude was down. I know he never have a 100-yard season, but this dude was going off. Touchdown, touchdown. Oh, I'm going backwards. That's why. I'm going backwards. My bad. So that's what I was trying to look at. So this is what he started off with Deshaun Watson. 24 yards, 48 yards, 20, 46, 24. No touchdown through the game. 54, one touchdown. He had versus Seattle, 77 yards. 26, 58. He had a touchdown in Arizona. And when Flacco got in there, I don't know when he got in there, but you see 56, 59, 17, 91 yards, 2 TDs, 104 yards, 10 receptions, 104 yards, 1 TD, 9 targets, 6 receptions, 44 yards of TD. Versus the Jets, he had 134 yards in a playoff game, 93 yards. So, you know, a lot of times, man, I think, you know, and I think one of the mistakes we made with TJ Hawkinson and Eric Ebron, we didn't find ways to get them the ball vertically. So I think a lot of times they like to get Sam Laporta, or they wanted to get him on that corner route, which wasn't successful, but a lot of the times. So they looked to do him on that deep corner route. But I think the next, you know, maturation process in this tight end thing for Laporta and for Detroit Lions is finding a way to get their tight ends the ball going down the field. And I know he had a couple catches, but you want to see him kind of get down the field and get vertical and stretch it out a little bit more consistently. And I think you see David Njoku. I think Joe Flacco gave Deshaun Watson the blueprint on, you know, how to get Njoku to football. And I think that's happened for Evan Ingram down there in Jacksonville. They found a way to get him the ball vertically. And I hear Trevor Lawrence taking a lot of flack but the boy was injured all year. And he's a generational talent, so he was injured. So it is what it is. I mean, when you injured and you playing banged up as a quarterback, that's hard to do. And I think next year with Calvin really getting another year to be, I think Jacksonville gonna be scary. They run defense was great. Now pass defense kind of slipped or whatever. I think what's so funny, I think if you would have told people, who would make it to the conference championship between the Lions and the Jaguars this year, I think include myself, I would say more likely Jaguars, you know. But I still think they right there with the Lions when it comes to the rebuild mode. But the problem is this, and I want to speak on this too after I talk about the offense, so I don't want to forget. So remind me. When you look at Brad Holmes, and I won't talk too much about that. I'm gonna do a video on it. He talked about this wasn't a Cinderella story this year, that they expect to be competing there. I feel like they 2 years ahead of schedule, right? And I think people felt that way with Trevor Lawrence last year. You think Urban Meyer set him back 2 or 3 years. The difference between a Lawrence, a Jacksonville, and Detroit, which a lot of people say these are teams that can take the next step this year. The difference was Jacksonville is in a conference full of killers. Detroit is in a conference, and um, historically, if the 49ers lose the Super Bowl, which I don't know and I don't give a hell, I'm going with Mahomes. I don't have any ill will towards the 49ers. Fred Warner, one of my favorite players. I was a Christian McCaffrey advocate when he got drafted. People say, "Oh, this white boy is another Toby McGarhart." People didn't watch Stanford. Um, you know, so I like him. I mean, I love Debo Samuels. And you got to ride my boy Gardner Johnson though. So George Kittle's another Iowa tight end. So but I'm riding with my homeboy. That's my boy. But but once you look at where Jacksonville is at, it's got even nastier, bro. In the AFC, you think about it, the Lions are fortunate to be in the NFC right now. You look at the AFC, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Cleveland. Let's see what Watson do. He was starting to heat up when he came back. CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson didn't look too bad before he left. Obviously you got Trevor Lawrence. Josh Allen may or may not get traded. The rumor is Aaron Rodgers is returning. You still got Tua Tagovailoa. You got Justin Herbert getting hardball. You still got Mahomes who's still reigning supreme. You know what I'm saying? Man, I want to forget somebody. So that's 11. That's 11, Pro Bowl caliber quarterbacks. You go to the NFC real quick and you say, let's add that shit up. You look in and you say, well, Green Bay, Jordan Love has arrived. I was one of the few advocates for Jordan Love. I said he can play. Me and Dez Bryant was the only two people that believed. It just didn't make no sense for them to push Rodgers out the door and then just go to. They knew Jordan Love can play. I like to see him use his legs a little bit more, but outside of that, yeah, Chicago might have make a great turnaround. But if they they stick with Justin Fields, okay, But you see, the AFC South is just it's just kind of you go to the NFC East, they don't like the quarterback. You got Mama speaking out about Dak. Brothers, talking about get rid of Dak. You hear Philadelphia that Jalen Hurts was acting like a diva, and that's why the locker room kind of melted down. I didn't even know that. He didn't really seem like that type. So the Commanders, they hating on Ben Johnson because he didn't want to talk to them. They had to settle for Dan Quinn. The Giants don't have a quarterback. Like I said, the Rams, they are on they coming back and they doing well, but then again, the quarterback is old. They traded a lot of resources and draft picks over the years. Arizona, I think they look really, really well when Kyler Murray came back. So they may be a player in the game. Seattle, we'll see with Mike McDonald, ex-Michigan defensive coordinator, the head coach. So really, it's really top heavy, in the AFC. It's extremely top heavy, So if you want them AFC teams that don't have a quarterback, the Broncos, the Raiders, the Patriots, the Steelers, I think you should be trying to trade your firstborn to get Caleb Williams to get one of those quarterbacks. To be honest, because if you ain't got a quarterback and you ain't got a defense, AFC man, it's tough sledding, bro. It is really tough sledding in the AFC, man. And if Pittsburgh get a quarterback, man, well, look out. Look out. So, but yeah, offensively, you continue on, man. Laporta was lights out. David Montgomery, I told y'all he was an upgrade from Jamal Williams. Y'all was just emotionally tied into we the Detroit Lions. Don't let these tears fuse all dog over here. And I like them too. And that's what I liked about them getting Gardner Johnson. Gardner Johnson gave them somebody that was vocal. When you lost Jamal Williams, you needed a vocal guy in the locker room. And that's what I looked about getting Gardner Johnson. I would like to bring him back because you need a guy that's going to put batteries in guys' backs, that's going to talk shit to opponent. You need that guy. He loved being here. The teammates love him. Brian Branch want him back. He want him back. He makes them a lot better. He didn't even get a chance to show what he really can do. And he came back getting picks and everything. So for him to come back and even make it to the playoffs, and y'all expect him to be at the highest level, that's ridiculous. Um, but continue offensively. I mean, St. Brown was St. Brown. Uh, Jameson Williams started to get his feet wet. I think he's starting to get healthy. I think it's more about healthy. But when I start talking about guys I want to bring back, Josh Reynolds one of them. I think you can get more out of that position. I just think it's more that can happen out that position. It's not about the drop. I just think it's more you can get from that position. Because you get one of them taller receivers like a Keon Coleman or somebody in free agency that really can take the top off the defense and get down the field with more speed. I think you want more and more speed. Yeah, you want the hands and all that type of stuff. And you say if that's DeAndre Hopkins, them throwing that ball to DeAndre Hopkins, he catch it. Yeah. Do you necessarily need a guy that can stretch the field? No. And Josh Reynolds, since especially last year, he was more of a chain mover. So can you get somebody, I'm not saying Mike Evans, 25, 30 million is what he could be commanded. But can you get somebody that can stretch the field because you got chain movers? Your backs can catch the ball out the backfield. Laporta can catch the ball out the backfield, can catch the ball. St. Brown can, move the stick. So can you get that receiver that can really, with Jameson Williams, that can really stretch the defense out and allow the backs room to operate, running out the backfield, catching out the backfield, and allow St. Brown and Laporta to be the chain mover. So, any receiver outside of J-Mo and Khalif Raymond, I can live without. Obviously, I probably would want to keep Donovan Peoples-Jones, but we'll see what they feel like they got in Antoine Green. We'll see what they got about with the kid that was on the practice squad from Eastern Michigan. But I do think they need not a big time receiver, but they need a chain mover. I mean, they need somebody that can just stretch the field. They got a bunch of chain movers, so I think you need somebody that can go out there and just get them a target outside the numbers, and that's what they need to do. Golf need to be working on how do I become more efficient outside the numbers? How do I become more efficient when moving off the spot, being mobile, and throwing the football off platform? Because he was more comfortable throwing the football off platform than Lions in the Super Bowl, bar none. So what can he do? Take ballet lessons, take hustle lessons, ballroom dances, go down to Opium or MGM Grand on Sunday night to get some ballroom lessons. That's what he need to be doing. How can he become more mobile in the pocket? When he pick up his feet and slide his feet off platform, it's inaccurate. So that's just something he got to work on. You can't change the arm strength, but that's the only real upgrade I see as long as they don't lose no offensive lineman. That's pretty much about it. To continue to be efficient is, anything to take the defense, anything to take the offense to the next level is fairly going to be based on the development of Jameson Williams and what they can get out the receiver. Another receiver coming in here. Can Donovan Peoples-Jones step up and be that guy on the outside? Can Green step up? Or can they go find a guy? And we talking about going to find a guy. You ain't got to spend a bunch of money on the guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to just give y'all an example of a guy out there, and I think let me think real quick. Let me think of an example of a guy. You know what? If this guy was healthy for Green Bay, a guy like Christian Watson, that's what you're looking for. I think Josh Reynolds was more of a chain mover this year, but you're looking for more of a guy like Christian Watson. So I don't know. They got this stuff on my screen, but whatever. Yeah, you're looking for more like a guy like Christian Watson. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're looking for. Yeah, that's what you're looking for. You know, Mike Evans is expensive. You know, and another interesting guy I'm probably gonna talk about is Curtis Samuels. That's another interesting guy I like for the Lions. More of a slot guy, and that's probably the issue right there. But I like Curtis Samuels a lot. You know, and you know what's so funny too, man. I think DJ Shark didn't have the greatest year, and we knew what happened in Carolina. But Jesus Christ, what if they was able to bring DJ Shark back this year, and just him and the chemistry that him and Goff had. It was beautiful, man. I liked it. I was kind of advocating for him to trade for him at the trade deadline. Him the report that him and Goff had, I think that's exactly what they was missing this year. They was missing the DJ Shark, and I think they was hoping that Jameson Williams would step up. But the chemistry that DJ Shark and Goff had, that's what they was missing. Goff was throwing lasers to DJ Shark down the field. That's exactly what they was missing. Had they had that element along with their receivers this year, in my opinion, the offense is more explosive with DJ Shark. Now, I don't know what was said behind the scenes and all that, but I think that's exactly the type of guy that they missing. And then you got Calvin Ridley, that's a free agent. I mean, could they get Calvin Ridley coming in here? I mean, that'll be interesting. T. Higgins probably a little bit too rich for your blood. Michael Pittman Jr. like him a lot. I would imagine they would bring him back. But yeah, I think DJ Shark is exactly what you're looking for, and that allows you to keep Josh Reynolds as well too. But if I can get a Calvin Ridley, you know what I'm saying? If I can get a Shark back, or a Tyler Boyd, more of a slot guy, if y'all was wondering, if you can get a Mike Evans, hey, go do your thing, but 25, 30 million a year, that's crazy. But offensively, I just feel that it's just, if you can get some guys to develop, you ain't have to do much there. You keep stacking offensive linemen. Maybe find a hidden, gem in the backfield, but you can't totally neglect the offense. You have to continue to upgrade it. So I think I would love to bring back DJ Shark. I just like the chemistry that him and Goff had. I think they missed it. They missed that. You add DJ Shark this year and he was fairly healthy. I think once again, I think they're in the Super Bowl. I gotta keep saying that. So Lions was getting gifts regardless what free agent. Okay, I already answered that. He said, "You think Ndamukong Suh would have made a difference?" Nah, he wouldn't have made no difference. Hard to get off that couch. How would you feel about using him to sign a my Rob brother? He ain't no good, bro. I'm good on that. No offense to him. He ain't no good. But if that keep him in Detroit, absolutely. Benjamin Foles, salute what they doing that kicker. I mean, I think you're going to just keep developing Michael Bashley at this point. BB a baller. He said, I would like the CJ back too. I don't think it would be a huge loss if we don't bring him back. When 12-5, mostly without him. But then again, you got to remember too, with Melifano, we got any other questions I answer him. Melifano don't stay healthy. So hopefully if he stay healthy, then I mean, yeah, then possibly I'll bring him back. Them young DBs need him. Sometimes a player can reach places that a coach can't reach. But yeah, kind of just finishing talking about up on the Lions, man. If y'all got any questions, I answer them before I get off. But one of the things I wanted to point out is, kind of Holmes is like, well, we don't plan on this being a Cinderella story. But one of the things about it as well too is you just simply don't know with injuries and all that type of stuff that you're gonna have year to year if you're gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? But when you look at the outset of the NFC, I mean, you just happy praying that the Lions are not in the AFC. And imagine if Caleb Williams go to the AFC, a couple of them quarterbacks go to the AFC. Man, it's really loaded over there. So they really gonna be beating up on each other. So you think about it, like I said, the Cleveland watching, see if he can come back to form. They got a really good team with or without him. You know what I'm saying? Pittsburgh got a really good team, playoff team. Baltimore got a really good team. The quarterback. Joey B gonna be back next year. They got a good team. They got some receivers that's gonna be up. T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, but they'll figure out how to replace them or bring some of them back. Um, then you go down to this AFC South. You talk about Jacksonville. They got a good football team. You talk about Houston, they got a good football team. You talk about Indianapolis or Anthony Richardson being healthy, as long as he ain't injury prone, they got a good football team. Obviously Will Levis was throwing the ball pretty well last year, but they're in the transition mode, and that's I think it's no better time for a team to be in a transition mode than now because the AFC is tough over there. So then you turn around and you said the New England in the rebuild mode, but then Aaron Rodgers coming back to the Jets if he can remain healthy at 40 years old. Josh Allen stick around there. There's rumors that he could be leaving. Buffalo always gonna have a chance. Um, you know, Miami with Tua and those guys. You see, Vic Fangio left as a defensive coordinator because he says a lot of those guys was focused on the lifestyle of Miami and not winning football games. And for somebody to walk away from Miami and go to Philly should let you know everything you need to know. Then you go down to the AFC West and you say the Raiders, they get a quarterback. They got a good team. I'm pulling for Antonio Pierce. I had no issues with the Raiders. But then you talk about Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert with Harbaugh, Denver, really Denver, Tennessee, and Oakland maybe be seen as the weaker links over there, but that's a tough conference. You look at Detroit, I think Green Bay and then 49ers win the Super Bowl. That's your toughest competition. I see Arizona rising, I see what LA doing with Stafford and those guys in Nakua. And maybe Cooper Kupp just beat up. Stafford's an older quarterback. I think Philly will be back next year, but if it's about Jalen Hurts not checking his ego at the door, that's wild. Um, Dallas is going to be Dallas as long as Jerry breathing and ticking. Um, and pretty much that's about it. That's about it. Kirk Cousins, we don't know what he's going to do when he come back. So the Lions is in a conference where, it's not as, all the killers in the AFC. All the killers in the AFC. But I think Jordan Love is big time, bro. And, what's so funny about it? He wasn't even able to really unleash Christian Watson like they wanted to. Jordan Love is big time. I said that from the beginning. From the first time I seen him throw in college in Utah, man, I said, man, that kid. I just like to see him run more. But it's to me, it's a Chicago gonna make some noise this year, in the draft. But Brad Holmes was saying, you don't win games in April and in March and all that. So really, I think when you're talking about the teams coming in, that's going to be a problem next year. San Francisco, if they lose Super Bowl, we already know how the bad luck go with that. I think Cincinnati tried to put that to bed last year. Started off slow, got hot. It was 2 seasons ago. This year, I think Philadelphia proved they started off at 10-1 and just melted down the stretch. So they proved the curse to be true, like the Madden curse. So but I really think next year, and we don't know what's going to happen in the offseason, but I think next year you're probably thinking Detroit, 49ers, if they win the Super Bowl, Dallas, Philly, Green Bay, probably Arizona or one of them AFC West teams, Arizona, LA. I really like what Arizona was doing, man. That play caller is big time down there. So I like what they was doing. So, yeah, it's not as treacherous, but um, it's not a hard division, the conference right now. All the top shotters at quarterback are over in the AFC. He's thinking Mike. Now they say Mike command 25 to 30 a year. Absolutely not. Well, I don't do predictions. I don't predict ahead of time, bro. I don't predict records. I think we all know that. I don't believe in Green Bay. I got them more. I see more bias. Man, you a Viking fan, bro. They gonna whoop the fuck out y'all next year. Y'all forgot how to run the ball since y'all got Kevin O'Connell. Green Bay is for real, bro. Green Bay is for real, in my opinion. Jordan Love is a motherfucking dog. I said that from the beginning. Jordan Love is a motherfucking dog. Well, yeah, you talk about Goff to end out, and people say, "Well, Goff's our quarterback, and you're hating on Goff." I just call him how I see him, like Biggie say. I just call him how I see him. G, you niggas sound like me. I was grimy in the early '90s, probably, Well, yeah, I just, at the end of the day, bro, I just, I think what's so funny about it, you look at golf, and the quarterback they went to go draft, what golf weaknesses are is his strength. Golf arm might not be the best throwing down the field, unless it was to DJ Shark. Hendon Hooker specialized in throwing down the field. Golf that's not great, got great mobility. Hendon Hooker specialized in running and moving his feet. So yeah, it's very interesting though. But yeah, he won. He surpassed Stafford as the greatest quarterback, or right up there with Bobby Lane for the Detroit Lions in team history. He did some great things. But one thing that kind of worried me is that quarterbacks who have an issue with arm strength as you get older, that does not, your arm does not get stronger. And I think teams are going to try to make, golf throw the ball outside the numbers a little bit more. And I think golf should work on his mobility this year, pocket mobility, moving off platform and making throws. And if he can do that, I can live with it. But I feel that, let's say a McCarthy dropped to you or Jaden Daniels dropped to you, or somebody that you believe in, I mean, I think you might have to pull the trigger on that. But like I said before, one of the reasons why Jared Goff excels, and Hendon Hooker is not going to excel right away until he learned the game. Goff understands how to, he understands where to go with the football underneath. Goff ain't just play action to bust. Goff can drop back, and he know his reads now. Read defense is better. He can do a 15-20 play drive up the field. And Hendon Hooker, that's what you got to wait and see. Can't depend on your legs. Can you do a 15-20 play drive? That's the question. And if Goff just had some pocket mobility, dude, I would have no issue paying him no money. But I think, we've seen a lot of teams have success, and then they pay a quarterback some money and they get paid, and then that success is gone. You know what I'm saying? If league didn't figure them out. So in my opinion, if I could upgrade that position, I would. If I felt strongly about a quarterback that fall to me, we drafted Hooker. I mean, Hooker and these jokers can duke it out. But I think if they want Goff to be successful next year, hopefully he work on his mobility a little bit. And then got to go out there and be Michael Vick, or be Hendon Hooker. But I think just being able to move off that spot and throw better footballs. But also I think if they want to help him, man, I'm gonna keep saying this. When you see somebody have a greater chemistry as DJ Shark and Jared Goff had, I just think you can't pass that up. I think Brad Holmes should really bring back DJ Shark, and they may not deem him a Lions player or a great guy, but when you got a guy where Jared Goff was clicking since training camp with, they were literally clicking on all cylinders. And I think his ability, his speed, he only 27 years old, his speed and his ability to stretch the field is what they're missing. They'll allow you to bring in Shark, keep Reynolds if you want to, and bring in Jameson Williams. Because one thing we know about DJ Shark, he can win on the outside. Jameson Williams, we still waiting to see if he can beat press coverage on the outside. One thing about DJ Shark, he can win on the outside. And I think that's the element that was missing this year, is his ability, 6'4", to run and stretch the field, and just his natural camaraderie he had with Jared Goff. So I think that's kind of, if you're going to, sign Goff, make him comfortable, go pay DJ Shark some bread, and make them as comfortable as possible. So that's all I got, man. Probably more of a Pistons wrap up coming, trade deadline wrap up coming, man. I want to say the SNKR Nike app. I tried to get the bread for us. I sat there, waited all day, and I didn't get them today in the shock drop. But I just know next time if I pick 11.5, I would have had a pair. It's just the bots is crazy out here. But hey, hit the link tree. I'm gonna put this on Spotify and Anchor. It'll be up by the morning by the time y'all probably get to work or whatever, it'll be there. But I want to support the channel. Jab that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon button, check out the Lions one-on-one playlist. Want to donate, Cash App, $CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313. Appreciate y'all. Peace.